Imagine waking up in a place you've never seen before. Your eyes refuse to open. Your body won't move. You can't remember your name, your family, or even how you got here. The only thing you hear is a cold, mechanical voice repeating the same question over and over again. What's 2 plus 2?
The question means nothing to him. He doesn't even understand why he's hearing it. What's 2 plus 2? The voice keeps repeating itself again and again and again, like a machine trapped inside an endless loop. Who is asking? Where is the voice coming from? And more importantly, who is he? He tries to think, but his mind feels empty. Not fuzzy, not tired. Empty, like someone erased his entire life. He tries to move. Nothing happens. His arms won't move. His legs won't move. Even opening his eyes feels impossible. It's like being trapped inside his own body, fully conscious, but completely powerless. Panic begins crawling through his chest, a slow, suffocating panic, the kind that gets worse with every passing second. What's 2 plus 2? The question becomes unbearable. Why won't it stop? Why is this machine asking elementary school math questions? Summoning every bit of strength he has left, he forces his lips to move. What's 2 plus 2? 4. The voice finally stops. For the first time, the silence feels beautiful.
Slowly, very slowly, he begins regaining control of his body. A finger twitches, then a hand, then an arm. His muscles burn from the effort. Every movement feels unnatural, as if he hasn't used his body in years. Eventually, he manages to open his eyes. Blinding white light floods his vision. The ceiling above him is smooth and sterile. Bright panels illuminate everything. There isn't a single shadow anywhere. It feels less like a hospital and more like a laboratory. As his vision clears, he notices mechanical arms hanging from the ceiling. Dozens of them. Thin metallic limbs folded neatly above him. Waiting. Watching. Ready to move at any moment. He slowly sits up. Tubes disconnect from his body. Sensors release from his skin. Everything around him is spotless, perfectly clean, almost unnaturally clean. Where is he? A hospital? A laboratory? A military facility? None of it feels right. Then he notices the beds beside him. 2 more beds. Occupied. At first, relief washes over him. Thank God. Other people. Maybe they can explain what's happening. Maybe they know who he is. Maybe...
The relief vanishes instantly. The people in those beds aren't sleeping. They're dead. Their skin is dark and leathery. their faces sunken, their bodies shriveled, like ancient mummies preserved for centuries. His heart starts pounding, because these people didn't die yesterday. They've been dead for a very long time. The room suddenly feels much colder. Who were they? What happened to them? And why is he alive while they dead?
What is your name? The question catches him off guard. Of course he knows his name. Everyone knows their name. He opens his mouth, ready to answer. Nothing comes out. Not because he doesn't want to answer. Not because he's scared. Because he genuinely doesn't know. His name is gone. Completely gone. The realization hits harder than discovering the bodies. Because if you don't know your own name, what else have you forgotten? Family? Friends? Childhood? Dreams? Everything. He forces himself to stand. His legs shake violently, but they hold. If nobody is going to explain what's happening, he'll find the answers himself. He slowly explores the room. The walls are smooth, featureless. No windows, no clocks, no indication of where he is. For all he knows, he could be anywhere in the universe. As he examines the room, strange thoughts begin appearing in his mind. Bits of information, random facts, scientific knowledge. He can't remember his own birthday, but somehow he knows complicated scientific concepts. That means something. His memory isn't completely gone. Pieces still exist. Maybe he can rebuild them, one fragment at a time. Suddenly, a memory appears. Not gradually, instantly, like lightning. He remembers a strange scientific phenomenon, a mysterious line stretching between the Sun and Venus. The Petrova Line. The name feels important, dangerously important. But he doesn't know why. How can his brain remember obscure scientific mysteries while forgetting who he is? Something about that feels wrong. Very wrong. He looks back toward the dead bodies. Who were they? Friends? Co-workers? Strangers? Part of him feels guilty for not remembering, as if he should know them, as if they mattered. But the harder he tries, the less he remembers. And that makes the room feel even emptier. He still doesn't know his name. He still doesn't know where he is. He still doesn't know why everyone else is dead. But one thing is becoming painfully clear. The answers are hidden inside his missing memories. And if he wants to survive, he'll have to remember who he is before it's too late. And somewhere deep inside his mind, the words Petrova Line continue echoing, waiting, like the first clue in a mystery that could change everything.
The room holds no answers, only questions. Too many questions. If his memories won't return on their own, he'll force them to. One clue at a time, one observation at a time, one experiment at a time, because science is the only thing he still trusts. He leaves the medical area and enters another section of the facility. A laboratory. Rows of equipment line the walls. Microscopes, test tubes, measurement tools, computers, scientific instruments. And something remarkable happens. Without thinking, he instantly recognizes all of it. He knows what every piece of equipment does. He knows how to use it. He understands it all, naturally. For the first time since waking up, he learns something important about himself. He's a scientist. Or at least, he used to be. The discovery feels strangely comforting, like finding a tiny piece of himself hidden beneath the wreckage of his memory. As he moves around the laboratory, another strange feeling keeps bothering him. Something feels wrong. He can't explain it. Not yet. But his instincts won't let it go. Walking feels harder than it should. Climbing feels harder than it should. Even lifting simple objects feels strangely exhausting. Then he notices something else. Objects seem to fall faster than normal. Only slightly, but enough to catch his attention. Most people would ignore it. He doesn't. Because scientists don't ignore strange observations. Scientists investigate them. He gathers supplies from around the laboratory. A stopwatch, a measuring tape, a test tube. Simple tools. But sometimes simple tools reveal extraordinary truths. He measures the height of a table, then places a test tube on top. His eyes lock onto the object. His finger hovers above the stopwatch. He pushes the test tube off the edge. The tube falls. He starts timing. The test tube hits the floor. Again, and again, and again. 20 times. Each measurement carefully recorded. Finally, he averages the numbers. Then begins calculating. Distance, time, acceleration. The equations come naturally, almost automatically. Another clue. His scientific training is still intact, even if everything else is gone. Then he sees the answer, and immediately wishes he hadn't. The gravity is wrong. Far too strong. Not slightly, not by a little, significantly. Objects aren't falling at Earth's normal gravitational acceleration. They're falling much faster. His stomach tightens, because he already knows what that means. If gravity is stronger, everything weighs more. That explains why moving feels so difficult, why climbing feels exhausting, why his body feels weak. But that explanation creates a much bigger problem. Earth's gravity doesn't randomly change. It can't. Which means something is very wrong. No, there must be another explanation. There has to be. Maybe he's inside some sort of giant rotating structure. A centrifuge. That could create artificial gravity. Yes, that makes sense. At least it's possible. Now he just has to...
He searches through the laboratory. Drawer after drawer. Shelf after shelf. Looking for one simple thing. String. Finally, he finds some thread. Yes. He ties one end to a weight, the other end to an overhead support, creating a pendulum. Simple, elegant, reliable. A pendulum's motion depends on only two things: its length and gravity. He starts the experiment. The pendulum swings, back and forth, back and forth, minute after minute. The process is boring, painfully boring. But science doesn't care about excitement. Science cares about accuracy. When the measurements are complete, he changes locations and repeats the experiment. Again, same results. And that's a problem. A huge problem. If he's inside a centrifuge, gravity should change slightly between locations. But it doesn't.
The numbers remain the same. So he does more math. Pages and pages worth. Except he doesn't have paper. So he writes directly on the walls, like a madman solving impossible equations. Hours pass. Calculations pile up. Possibilities disappear one by one. Until only one conclusion remains. He's not inside a centrifuge. Which means artificial gravity isn't causing this.
Suddenly, another memory crashes into his mind. This one stronger than before, more vivid, more detailed. He's sitting in a restaurant, across from a woman named Marissa, a close friend, someone he trusts. Steaks, beer, conversation. For a moment, it feels wonderfully normal, like a glimpse into a life that no longer exists. But Marissa looks worried, very worried. The kind of worried that changes people. At first, he jokes with her, trying to lighten the mood, trying to make her smile. But she doesn't. And that's when he knows something is wrong. Very wrong. Marissa finally tells him. Scientists have discovered something impossible. Something terrifying. The sun is losing energy. Not over millions of years. Not over thousands of years. Right now. Its brightness is decreasing. According to the projections, Earth's future is catastrophic. Temperatures will fall. Growing seasons will shrink. Food production will collapse. Entire ecosystems will die. Billions of people could starve. Civilization itself could collapse. And somehow, the phenomenon is connected to the Petrova Line. That strange mystery stretching from Venus toward the sun. Something is stealing the sun's energy, and nobody knows how or why.
The memory fades. The laboratory returns. The silence returns. But the fear stays. Because deep inside, he knows this isn't just a random memory. He's connected to it. Connected to the Petrova problem. Connected to humanity's greatest crisis. And as he stares at the equations covering the walls, another terrifying thought begins forming. If Earth's gravity doesn't exist here, and artificial gravity isn't the answer, then maybe